Hey guys, we are live. Today, I'm sorry about the echo. I don't know what's going on. I guess while I'm not talking, I'll mute myself, and I'm so sorry about that, you guys. But today we have John, the carnivore teacher, on, as well as my co-host George. And today I'm gonna ask John about his story because I've never heard it. So John, what was life like before you came across carnivore?
Oh boy. Well, I'm just for the audience to have a little frame of reference. I'm currently 60 years old. I ate the standard American diet. I live in South Florida. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I've lived in Maryland. I know North Carolina a little bit. I ate the standard American diet my whole life. I grew up Italian American. We ate a lot of pasta, a lot of bread, and I was fine, but I was putting on weight in my teens and 20s. And when I hit my 30s and 40s, I was really putting on weight and getting sluggish and tried all the diets out there, restrictive diets, restricting calories and everything. And I lost weight and I exercised my butt off and I just tried to do the calorie in, calorie out thing. And it worked until it stopped working. And then I would, the diets would end and I would go back to eating what I always ate and I would put the weight back on and always more. I always had more weight than when I started. So I started getting lower back pain in my late 20s that never went away. It would get worse and then kind of subside a little bit. It was always there for decades. Very painful lower back pain. About 15 years ago, maybe 12 or 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with paroxysmal atrial fibrillation. I had AFib. That started happening. I had pretty bad skin. I always had problems with depression and mood. The list goes on and on. So what I did is I heard about this diet called keto. And that's when it all changed. I don't go into that yet because you just asked me what life was like before. So I'll stop there. But life before was not that great. And I was a sugar addict. I ate a lot of candy, a lot of cake, anything. I added sugar to it. I loved sugar and sweets and Halloween and Easter and candy, candy, candy. And of course, we all know now what I was doing to my body was terrible. Thank God I stopped.
So my question is, how did you come across keto or carnivore and what really led you to it? And then from there, what was your transition like?
Sure. So let's see. This is almost 7 years ago now. We're getting close to that. I heard about the ketogenic diet, which I had never heard that word before. I didn't know what ketosis was or anything. And I think it was from, being online, getting on YouTube, seeing things that we didn't used to have years ago. And so I thought, well, I've tried everything else. Let me try this. And so I watched one video from Thomas DeLauer, if you know who that is. And he stood at a whiteboard, a very athletic, muscular, good looking dude, right? Teaching, explaining what to eat, what to leave out, what is ketosis, how to get fat adapted, all new information to me. I had no concept of this. It was nothing like I had done before. And so I started following it. I threw out the salad dressings and the margarine and all the bread and the pasta and the potatoes and the rice. And I started just eating meat, fish, eggs, and vegetables and some fruits, which was ketogenic. And I lost 35 pounds like that within a couple of weeks. It just fell off of me and it just smacked me in the head. And I'm like, what the heck just happened to me? I feel fantastic. There's something to this low carb thing called keto. So then that let me down a rabbit hole and I went and I started watching other videos that Thomas DeLauer, that YouTube recommended. I found Dr. Ken Berry, who said he was a carnivore. And I thought, what the carnivore? And I didn't do that yet, but it was intriguing. And so then, Dr. Robert Sivas and Dr. Anthony Ch, all these different influencers, I started widening my viewing, my learning, and I kept an open, teachable mind. And I Oh wow, I'm doing keto, but oh, I have to take these things out called seed oils. I didn't know to do that. So then I stopped the seed oils. Oh, I shouldn't be doing this either, cooking with plastic and Tupperware and using plastic. So I took that. So little by little by little, when I learned something, I applied it and I made these little incremental changes to my life over a couple of years. And, here I am 7 years later. I've become a carnivore because of that. But it all started with going keto with me. Yeah.
So when did you transition from keto to carnivore?
Um, the first year when everything was rosy and I lost weight and felt great, I started getting, and the lower back pain disappeared and the AFib went into remission and everything just improved. Then I got this aching, severe, isolated lower back pain. And it wasn't like the lower back pain that I had before. It was on one side. And I was bicycle riding, and I remember I almost fell off the bike. And I came home and it got worse and worse. And so, oh, I know what this is. I have a kidney stone. I bet that's what it is. So I went to the emergency room and they did a scan and they saw the kidney stone was in my ureter. And it was so excruciatingly painful. So after I won't go into that story, but I passed it and I dove deeper and started researching what causes kidney stones, and the majority are calcium oxalate kidney stones. Where do oxalates come from? Then I did a deep dive into that rabbit hole and learned that I did this to myself by eating a lot of spinach and dark chocolate and black pepper and cinnamon and turmeric and almond flour, all the super high oxalate plant foods I was doing because they were low carb and it fit into my ketogenic lifestyle. But I had such high amounts, it was ridiculous. If I were to count the amount of milligrams I was giving myself a day, the average human can process approximately 150 milligrams of oxalates daily. I was probably doing well over 1,000 or 2,000 milligrams a day, if I calculate it. So when I stopped all of a sudden, also my body said it's time to dump. And that's when I got this terrible thing. So I decided to go ketovore at that point, which is very close to carnivore. So I took out all the high oxalate foods. I still had broccoli, asparagus, avocados. I still drank coffee and tea, but I took out the bulk of what was causing my problems. And then about a year later, after feeling miraculous and even better than I did on keto, I thought, well, I'm so close to carnivore. Dr. Chafee and all these other influencers are like, carnivore is the way to go because plant toxins are not. I learned about the other plant toxins, not just oxalates. I learned about lectins and phytates, saponins, salicylates, histamines, all the other ones. And I thought, I'm almost there. Let's just take out the remaining amount. And I just pulled out the rest of the vegetables and I stopped eating fruit. So it's going on 3 years now. I've been a full carnivore. I would say 95 to 98% carnivore. I have a little bit of mustard sometimes nowadays with my hamburger. And that's about it. I don't really, I'm almost 100% carnivore. So that's how I got there.
Wow, that's a really good story. I really like some people just go from standard American and jump right in. I kind of like
Yeah,
how you slowly transition and just the more you learn, the better you did, right? And I think that's how
exactly.
everybody should do it. You know, if you don't know, you can't do better, but if you do know, you should do better. Has anybody got any questions for John? George, do you have any questions for John? You're muted.
Okay, so I'm unmuted now. I'm still a newbie at this. Okay, so yeah, what I'd like to talk about is really John's work on his channel. Now, you and I work once a week together on Sunday School Carnival, which is great. But you also do daily these wonderful shorts, which are about 5 minutes long. And you've basically got a really good scientific library which people can refer to learn about plant toxins, the role of micronutrients in the body. It's a wonderful library, and certainly when I finish doing the coaching course, I intend to go back through it and create a book based on your teachings to help me with my coaching. Do you want to talk about the what you do on a daily basis, John? That'd be really good.
Sure. Well, what I do. Oh, I'm getting that echo again. See if you can mute George. I don't know. It wasn't there for a long time. There it goes. It's gone. It must have something to do with us having to mute when we're not talking. So what I do on a daily basis, I took not these earbuds. These are regular wired headphones, but I put my regular AirPods in. I go to the gym every day, or I bicycle ride. I love to exercise. It's a very large part of my routine, not just diet, but exercise. I try to do well-rounded. And I'm always listening to my guys and my gals, my YouTube favorites. And I'll listen to Casey Ruff interviews and Dave Mack interviews and Anthony Chafee and just all the people that are my influencers. And the list is long. I can't even get to all of them, but I listen to them while I'm doing things, cleaning the house, cutting the lawn, raking the palm fronds and the leaves, lifting at the gym, running, high intensity, everything. I'm always having my earbuds in. And when I'm in the car, my phone is with me and it's connected to my car, and I'm just always listening. It's constant. And I get these ideas from these people, and I pause, I take my phone, I go into my notes, and I have an idea and I just say it so that I'll forget it if I don't do it. And I start accumulating a list of ideas to make videos about, teaching videos. For my audience, those of you who don't know me, I am a retired middle school teacher. I taught for 34 years, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So I'm used to making lessons. So I get these ideas. I sit down and I do research on the idea and come up with a template for a 5 to 7 minute teaching video. And then I make the video with my research, and I always supply resources in my YouTube links. And that's how that came about. So I do them in one sitting. I'll do 5 or 7 of them in one sitting with the same shirt. And then each day I open one up and I edit it. And in my Apple laptop here, I use Final Cut Pro, I use GarageBand, I use PowerPoint, I use all the programs that I used to teach in school. I used to teach video production. My green screen, my microphone, all that, my light box. I have everything lined up so that I am applying what I used to teach, and I'm using it for my YouTube channel. So yeah, I've accumulated library. I have mini series. The one I just finished, well, it's still coming out though, but I finished it, was on minerals. I've done mini series on plant toxins. These ideas that I get from the experts, the pros, the doctors, the nutritionists. I have epiphanies, something that changed my life or made me say, oh my gosh, aha, I understand that now. I can't keep it to myself. The teacher in me has to share it. So that's why I created my YouTube channel, and that's what I do on my YouTube channel, as well as interviews like this.
Just a random question. Since you're in Florida, are you going to be at Hack Your Health in November?
I am. I bought my ticket a long time ago after the last one. So I'll be there. Am I going to see you there?
Yeah.
Great. Aaliyah, wonderful. I'll look for you.
What's your average eating in a day?
Okay. It's really simple, and that's the beauty of the carnivore way of eating. It's extremely simple and very affordable. I have stocked in my big freezer in the garage and my freezer in the refrigerator in the kitchen. I have lots of ground beef. I buy whatever's on sale at my local grocery store, and sometimes ribeyes are on sale. Sometimes New York strip is on sale. Around the holidays, prime rib, instead of $110 for a big prime rib, they're on sale for $45. I buy 3 or 4 of those and throw them in the freezer. So I'll take them out 3 days in advance so they're thawing slowly. And I dry brine a steak with salt, put it in my refrigerator for 24 hours. And then that goes on either the Traeger grill, or I have a Bighorn propane grill. And I eat steak every night for dinner, or hamburger. And that's it. No vegetables, no sides, nothing. And I even got, for my birthday, instead of eating on a plate, I have a cutting board plate. It's made out of wood. It has little things to put your fork and your spoon. And I just like eating off of wood and cutting with sharp knives and a big fork. And I love eating. So every night it's some kind of steak or meat. It could be lamb. I love lamb steaks, lamb shoulder, lamb chops, lamb loins. My first meal of the day is always eggs. I know that you love your eggs. You mentioned that yesterday. You have way more than I do. So I buy pasture raised eggs. I don't care how much they cost. It's worth it. If I can't afford it, I won't buy them. I'm not going to buy the cheap crap. So I have 4 to 6 eggs and sometimes 2 extra egg yolks. And I'll either make an omelet, or I just cook them over easy so the egg yolk breaks into my ground beef or leftover steak from the night before. Or I save all the bones from every meal that I have in bags in the freezer. I make bone broth in the crock pot. 48 hours, 2 long days, slow cooking. I have them in glass jars in the refrigerator, and I'll make a bone broth soup, which is what I'm going to have today after this interview. I eat between 10 and 11 o'clock Eastern time. And I put the bone broth in. I let the bone broth cook my eggs. I throw in either ground beef or cut up meat. We had beef ribs last night that we slow cooked on the Traeger. Phenomenal. I'm going to cut that up and put that in there. So it's always a ruminant meat, whether it's ground beef, pork. I don't do a lot of pork, by the way. I love pork, but I try to keep that to the minimum. Pork. And I used to do a lot of poultry. I keep that to the minimum just because I feel better on ruminant meats. And I've also learned to cook them rare. I like my meat black and blue so that it's kind of crispy on the outside and almost raw on the inside. It's actually cold. When I cut my steak, it looks like fish on the inside. It's really just like sashimi. It's absolutely delicious. And I salt with Redmond real salt. And I just eat until I don't want it anymore. And when I do that, I don't snack in between, and I feel fantastic that way. So that's kind of what I'm trying to think. What did I leave out? Shrimp. Sometimes I'll have shrimp a couple times a week. I have canned fish in BPA-free cans. Spend a little extra money for those. And I get sardines and anchovies and herring. I buy wild-caught sockeye salmon. I cut it into little pieces and put them in baggies. And I have those a couple times a week. I believe it's important to try to eat a variety of carnivore foods. I don't like liver, kidney, heart, but I know it's important for me to have a little bit of that. So I found out that I love, what's the liver that I like? The fish liver, that just absolutely delicious, that you can get in cans that doesn't taste icky. It's cod liver packed in its own cod liver oil. So I'm getting all my minerals, all my vitamins, all my nutrients from my well-rounded carnivore foods. And I kind of came to that little by little. I refined it over the years, what works best for my physiology. So that's kind of what I eat in a day. And it's always 2 meals a day for me. If I try to go to 1 meal, I get hungry because I'm really active.
So, Nikki said that her friend made duck last night and it was really good. So, have you ever tried duck?
I have. I've had duck and I've had duck eggs. If you can get duck eggs, oh my gosh, they're so meaty and creamy and delicious. And duck is excellent. And the dark meat of chicken and duck is really good. Eat the skin, eat the fat, don't just eat the protein part. Eat everything that's very healthy.
Yeah. I love my ducks. They don't lay eggs right now. I don't know why, but I do like duck eggs. What I like more is turkey eggs, though.
Oh, I haven't tried turkey eggs.
George, you have anything to say?
Yes, I do. Firstly, I eat duck eggs every time over chicken eggs. We eat duck egg. I eat 1 or 2 a day, which I fry in either lard or tallow. Secondly, I was in the States, as you know, very recently, and I discovered an organ supplement called Pluck. Has anybody here heard of Pluck? Because I can highly recommend it.
I have not heard of pluck. I've heard of other organ supplements. So it's desiccated liver in a capsule. Is that what it is? Oh, he's going to show us. Cool. Yeah, I ordered, I forget the name brand, but I tried desiccated liver capsules and I found them to be expensive. I took them. I didn't notice a difference, so I stopped because they were kind of expensive.
Yeah, my thing with the capsules is that your body doesn't even absorb as much of it as you think it is, so
Yeah.
it's kind of not worth it. Show us the seasoning.
Okay, so that is what it looks like.
Pluck.
As
Oh,
you
it's
can
not a
see,
capsule.
no, it's not a capsule. It is flakes. So
Oh,
the description is beef organ blend, which is freeze dried powdered liver, spleen, kidney, heart, and pancreas. It was developed by a fine gentleman called James Barry, who used to be a chef for the celebrity world, such as Tom Cruise and Barbara Streisand. He actually developed it because he had no way of getting these supplements, these nutrients into his children. So he actually developed his own child-friendly, user-friendly way of actually adding it as a seasoning, but it's actually a supplement. It's an organ supplement to his meat. It's available in the United States. It was my great friend Tyler McCann who introduced it to me, and very kindly gave me one to bring home for my own use. So yeah, I found it very, very good. Adds a bit of flavour as well to the steak, so I can highly recommend it. There is a website out there, so if anybody wants to go and have a look, then yeah, I would recommend it.
I will look into that. Thank you, George.
So, for those of you who've never had duck eggs, I would say the yolk is a lot creamier and it takes a lot longer to cook. And even when you do cook them, they're still more creamy than chicken eggs. And as well as the yolk, it does get kind of rubbery if you overcook it. So that's why you got to be careful. But I do prefer duck eggs. They have more fat, more zinc, and all the nutrients in them as well. And the yolk to white ratio is the yolk is bigger than chicken eggs compared to yolk to white ratio. Yeah. Um. So for the pluck seasoning, George, what does it taste like?
He does add a flavour to it. One of them is called spicy mild. The other one is called a zesty garlic. Now, being obviously there are certain traces of the plant foods in there, but it just makes it a bit more interesting. And obviously, the overriding factor is that it contains all those wonderful organ meats which are freeze dried. So yeah, it adds an interesting flavour, and at the same time, you get all the benefits of the liver, the spleen, the pancreas, the heart, and the kidney. So yeah, I think on balance, even though there are certain traces of plant food in there, I think the benefit you get from it far outweighs those. A quick word on the CEO of the company, James Barry. If you put him into YouTube, he doesn't have his own channel, but he has been interviewed by some of the top people out there, including Dr. Kiltz. So you can actually find his ethos, his a lot of the interviews that he has given are an hour long. I'm working my way through them at the moment because I'm a great admirer of his. I'm very much hoping to meet him at the Rendezvous City Beef Roundup in Riverton in August of next year, because that will be happening and I will be returning to Riverton for that next year. And also, I believe that it also is goes into the Carnivore Bar to a certain extent as well, because I believe that he and Philip Meese, I think, is the name of the person who actually developed the Carnivore Bar. I believe they are friends and they do work together. So those are two products which I discovered whilst I was in the USA, which we do not have over in this country. So that to me was very, very interesting.
Where'd you get your hat from?
Wyoming, that was a gift from Tyler. It was a part of it. He also gave me a Make America Healthy Again t-shirt, which I'm not wearing today, but I did go to Yellowstone with Tyler, and I am wearing my Yellowstone t-shirt, which my great friend Laurie insisted that I buy whilst I was there. So yeah, it was a memorable trip, and I think both of you are aware of the fact that I did a YouTube magazine series, not YouTube, the other one, Facebook magazine series on it. So if anybody would like to read about my adventures in Wyoming, that is on my Facebook. So there we go. But I'm so looking forward to going back next year to the actual roundup itself. Usually the likes of Dr. Chafee and Dr. Kiltz are there. Tyler is organising a 5-kilometre competition, which is going to. I understand that the lovely Anthony Chafee is going to be taking part in it. And immediately after the 5K ruck, there is the Maggie White Challenge, which is to carry 2 50-pound bags for a quarter of a mile. So it's the sort of event I might have taken part in myself when I was a young soldier. But at the age of 60, with no knees and a hernia, I volunteered to be part of the judging team rather than actually taking part in it myself.
John, do you have anything else you'd like to tell our audience today?
When we were discussing going carnivore, and you mentioned that you thought it was interesting that I went into it slowly through stages. When people ask me how to start, I do recommend that there's 2 ways. And there's the, jump in the pool, cut everything out, dive right in and just do it way, because some people's personality is wired that way and that's how they do it. But most people don't do that. They put their foot in the water, they test the temperature. And I do believe it's healthier to ease into it because your body gets shocked. Your body's used to all the sugar, all the carbs, all the plant toxins, all the oxalates, all the seed oils. And when you just drastically and abruptly cease everything, the body will go through a major shock and withdrawal and oxalate dumping and other issues, electrolyte massive imbalancing. So I think that a lot of people have fell into it like I did. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but if I had to do it with all the knowledge I have today, I would do it exactly the way I did it. I would go very slowly and very carefully take things out and add the healthy foods in to allow my body to adjust, to allow my electrolytes to balance, to not pull out the oxalates all at once because then my body will dump them too fast. So there is a process, and I do recommend that people do it gradually. I think it's healthier that way. So I wanted to add that.
I agree with you. Well, I went full in. I do think for a lot of people, it is going to be a lot easier on their bodies to transition, especially for people who are very, very sick. I was very sick, but I would say my transition was fairly easy. But I wasn't like super strict carnivore like a lot of people are. So I was definitely leaning more towards ketovore anyways. But yeah, like my personality, if I would have just eased into it, I never would have fully went carnivore.
Yeah, that's why I think it's tied to your personality. And after we talked yesterday, I was thinking about you, Aaliyah, and how resilient you were and how quick you got these wonderful results. And I thought it's probably due to her age. You have this amazing bandwidth of youth. Mm-hmm. And your body was able to repair much faster. Someone who's older, who has a lot of migraines and PCOS and any of the other issues that you mentioned, it might take a lot longer because of their age, if they're in their 40s or 50s or 60s. So this is very individual. Nobody can say to another person, you have to do it this way. This is the way to do it. We all have to find our own way. There's some basic principles we follow, but everybody's body chemistry allows for a different application to work optimally.
Yeah, let's talk about your book. So, where can you buy it? What's the name of it? And what is the material in it?
Okay. It's called The Carnivore Teacher. I just decided to name it after me to make it easily searchable. And like your book, I published it on Amazon, but I also used this microphone and I recorded my voice and Audible. So you can go to Amazon or Audible and get the Audible version of it. It's a small paperback, and I'm currently working on another book called Processed to Death, which is going to be a lot longer and have more details and be all about the industry of big pharma, big food, and processed food. But this one is just your basics. Just what is carnivore? Just everything that I learned about carnivore and why it's essential for our species to eat the proper diet. Just like, any animal out in the animal kingdom has a species specific diet that's meant for their physiology to function optimally. Human beings have that as well. And we don't realize that with all the crap that's out in the grocery stores, all the junk food and all the and that kind of leads me to my second book, the ultra processed food. So it's just a guidebook on why the carnivore diet is the proper human diet and how to transition to it. So it's not a big book, but I had to get it out. And like you, I went through the process. I made all the mistakes and tried everything. And so now I know what I'm doing. I'm really excited. I'm working on my second book.
How do you record it on Audible? Like, I didn't realize that was an option.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. First, you have to publish the book.
All right.
Okay, and it's actually out and published and people can buy it. And then you go into a different section in Amazon where the Audible is, and you link it to your book and they accept it. And then I use a program on my Apple laptop called GarageBand. And I have this different, I pull this down and I have this pop mic so it doesn't get all my spit and all those sounds, and I adjust my levels and I pull my chapter up on my screen here and I read chapter by chapter, and I make mistakes. So then you have to go in and edit your mistakes. So I edit all my mistakes out, export the final copy, I put it in a folder, and I do chapter by chapter. And this second book I'm doing it while I'm writing the chapters. The first book, I did it all afterwards, and it was very cumbersome to read the whole thing. So now, as I write a chapter, I come into my studio and I record the chapter, and I start filling my folders up to the point where it's time to publish.
That sounds very lovely. I want you guys, any comments, questions, rude remarks you have for John, please put them in the comments so that we can go over them. I'm kind of going to scroll up and just see what George said. So George said that James Barry is the CEO of Pluck. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he does give interviews. Where does he give the interviews at?
Yeah, basically, if you just go onto YouTube and put in search YouTube, put in James Barry Chef or James Barry Chef or James Barry Carnivore Diet, and it will bring up several hour-long interviews, including one with Dr. Kilt, which I'm watching at the moment, and others on some mainstream news channels as well, because he was quite a famous chef in his time, but he prefers now to have the more family orientated lifestyle of running his own company. So, and he talks about his ethos and where it all came from. And yeah, I would highly recommend going and finding James, because it's a really good, I think it's a really good product, because it gives you all the benefits of organ meat without having to face actually eating organ meat, if you know what I mean. I mean, I do love organs, but I know there are some people out there who can't handle liver or kidney or anything else. And of course, you also get the pancreas and the spleen, which are never actually on for sale. So you get the entire benefit of the pluck. Now, I don't know if anybody has heard the word pluck before. I never heard it until I was researching haggis a couple of years ago. And the pluck is actually the entire entrails of the animal. And they actually use the pluck in haggis making. It was the first time ever I'd heard the term pluck, other than plucking a chicken, for example. So yeah, the word pluck actually refers to the entire entrails of an animal, which is reflected in the name pluck, which means that they use even the less well-known ones, such as the pancreas, the spleen, and everything else. So yeah, you get the full benefit of the, as James himself calls it, the nose to tail eating. He's a great believer in the regenerative farming. He only uses, this is really interesting, he only uses 100% grass-fed animals in the actual creation of pluck. He's very, very specific about that. So yeah, that's a very reassuring thing as well. So yeah, that's a bit of, I do sort of know James now. I have spoken to him on the telephone via Tyler. So yeah, I can highly recommend it. It's really good.
Thanks, George. I just pulled the website up, Pluck, and I'm going to order this for sure. That's great. Kind of excited. I love learning. I love getting new information, things I don't know yet. This is perfect.
I'd love to order them. I will go look later. Steph said that John's book is a must read. So you guys, if you're watching this and you're wondering what's inside of John's book, you gotta go buy it. So just go on Amazon, search up the Carnivore Teacher, and it'll pop right up. I assure you. Yeah.
Yeah, quick word on that. I know that Steph originally listened to John's book on Audible in all of one sitting, so she was yeah, very impressed. And I believe she has the book now, but she listened to it on Audible first. So yeah, I highly recommend it in both forms. Really, I had John's book, which I read, but so then we had the Great British Meetup in aid of healing humanity back in the summer. So once I'd given it one careful read, it went into the raffle. So it went out. It went into the raffle as part of the Healing Humanity funding. So it's gone to a good home, and the proceeds from that are shortly going to be transferred across to Healing Humanity to help with the editing and the production of the film. So, John, you did your bit there as well. So that's thank you, my friend.
I'm honored.
I will say I'm with Amy too. Surprisingly, I didn't know that the word pluck actually meant the entrails either. And now kind of thinking about it, it's kind of a little bit gross, but it's also kind of not, it's like very descriptive of what the product actually is. And I'm excited. I'm gonna go see if I can buy some if I can afford it, maybe. Have you guys tried the carnivore bars? Like the brand carnivore bar?
I have not yet. How about you, George? You have?
Yes, I have one sat in my fridge at the moment, which came back to me from the US of A. Tyler very kindly gave me two, and I had one whilst I was over there. It's kind of a strange experience, really, because it's got a bit of a crunch to it, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to be more like a nougat or a nugget or something like that. But yeah, it's got a sort of hint of a bit of crunchy texture to it. It's just one of those things that it's our version, I suppose, of the granola bar, because being a former mountain marathon type guy, I used to carry all those grain and chocolate bars with me. But now, yeah, I think it's a good substitute for that if you do want something on the move, especially for example when you're flying, because as we know, airline food is an absolute minefield. And they get funny about you taking fresh meat like ham, for example, onto a flight. But generally speaking, beef jerky or bar or something is probably a good way of keeping going on the move, because it comes pre-packaged, and they don't see it, because I had no problems in bringing the carnivore bar back with me from the US of A. So I would recommend, yeah, that's a good way of eating carnivore when you're traveling.
I've never tried the brand carnivore bars, but all they are is just pemmican, and pemmican is just dried meat and tallow, and it's like a Native American thing that goes way back, and I guess it's from other cultures as well.
Yeah, give me 1 minute. I'll go and get my carnivore bar out of the fridge, and I'll show it. Okay, so just bear with me.
That's what's going to be so cool about Hack Your Health when we go. Did you go to the last one, Leah?
No, I didn't go to the last one. Well, not really. Dr. Kiltz was the one who messaged me. Aaliyah wanted me to go with them and help with the booth and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I was at that one and one a couple of years before that when it was called KetoCon, and the products, the booths, it's going to be even better this year. We're just amazing. There's so many things you wouldn't even think about to supplement your way of eating. And we don't need any of this, obviously. If we just eat our carnivore foods, we get all the nutrition we need. However, it's kind of nice to have the options. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna try these flakes because I know I don't like organs, and I would like to just sprinkle a little bit because
What I oh
cod
yeah,
liver's not enough for me.
yeah. What I really want to try is the Equip protein. I know it's got like flavors in it and stuff. I don't really care that much. It's supposed to be like beef protein powder, and I don't know if it would be good or not. And I'm like, I want to try it, but I'm scared to like order it. So maybe I'll get there and I'll like ask people in real life who've tried it, like, is this actually good before I buy it?
They might be there, and they might have some free samples.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Oh, okay. Hold it up, George. Let's see the packet. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, folks. So there is an example of the carnivore bar.
Mhm.
It has some details on the back. I'll just read those for you. So I think I might be wrong about pluck bean. I think I might have confused it with Redmond real salt, because the ingredients are grass finished beef, grass finished tallow, and Redmond real salt. And the figures that matter to us, I'll ignore the calories. I don't believe in calories. The protein is 20 grams, the fat is 35 grams, and carbs is 0 grams. So it's basically what we're looking for. I have had some comments from my American classmates about the cost of it, but again, if you're actually traveling, it's a good way of doing it. It is refrigeration not required, and it originates in Lindbergh, in Columbia. Columbia doesn't mean much to me. Not Columbus, Ohio. Columbia, District of Columbia, Washington. Would that make sense?
That'd be DC. Yeah, our capital.
Absolutely. So yeah, that is a quick synopsis of the carnivore bar. One thing I can tell you is that Dr. Kiltz has a fantastic lady called Angela Lero on tomorrow on his 6 o'clock meetup Eastern Standard Time. She's in LA, so she's going to make the sacrifice of appearing at 3 o'clock PCT. But she is, I believe, a supplier of the carnivore bar. She certainly advocates it on Facebook, where I'm a friend of hers. Again, it was another fantastic contact that I made in the United States via Tyler. I had a good half-hour conversation with Angela while I was one evening over there. Angela has an amazing story herself. She had a mastectomy, breast cancer at the age of 28, which was further complicated by Lyme disease. And she's 40 now, but she's very much in the carnivore camp and is definitely feeling the full benefit. She's good mates with Dr. Kiltz and the likes of Anthony Chafee. Again, you will find her on YouTube quite a lot. And the great news is, John, that last night after Sunday School Carnival, Angela and myself had a fantastic conversation on Facebook Messenger, and she has confirmed for Sunday the 21st of this month as our guest on Sunday School Carnival, which I'm absolutely delighted about. So yeah, I've put her and Steph in contact today, and everything is in place for Angela as our guest on the 21st. So something very much to look forward to.
I was hoping that we could go around and kind of a small introduction for the people who joined recently, and then our social medias, etc. So I'm Aaliyah. I'm the host, and my social media is Aaliyah_the_carnivore on all platforms except Facebook, where the underscore is replaced with a period. You can email me at aaliyah.the.carnivore@gmail.com for any inquiries, as well as my website is in my bio. You can buy my book off of my website through Amazon, as well as my blog is posted on my website, which has my recipes. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you have any questions before I have to leave, please put them in the chat so we can go over them. John, your turn.
All right, thank you. Your book is amazing. I haven't read it yet, but being a former middle school teacher, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything out there for teens for the carnivore diet. And that's what your book is. It's Carnivore for the Teens. So I'm definitely going to purchase this book, check it out. I'm going to push it and explain this because I'm noticing the audience for carnivore in all the places I go is not for young kids or teens. They're not tuning in. They're not caring. And I think that's because they think they're super people because their bodies are so resilient when you're young. But, you know, as we've all observed, more and more young kids are becoming obese and having, you know, issues that only adults used to get. And that is obviously because of a poor diet. I'm just the carnivore teacher. I bought shirts so people can remember who I am. And I'm on YouTube and I'm on Facebook and I'm on X and I'm on Threads and Instagram and LinkedIn. And my book is on Amazon and the Audible is on Audible. And I hope in the future to be invited to be a guest speaker at some of these events. I put my name out there. I've asked people. I wanted to be at Hack Your Health and it was already filled, but I would love to expand my reach if possible. I have so much to share, so many wonderful things I've learned, and I do like to communicate that and try to help other people. So that's my goal. That's where I can be found, and just honored to be on anybody else's channel to share.
So I am in cahoots with someone planning a Charlotte, North Carolina meetup. Don't know if it's actually going to happen. Okay, you know, we never know because I need to find somebody who's actually planned one before to help us plan it. But if we do that, you will be on our list of guest speakers if you choose to come.
Thank you.
George, your turn.
Yeah, first thing to say, Aaliyah, is I myself have organised a meetup in the past. So I'm always willing to help, as Steph and various members of our class. I'm sure that there are plenty of organisers out there who will help you from the United States. You know, I'm sure that Kerry himself would give a hand, or Adam Lacey, or somebody like that who is used to doing it. Yeah, so quick word about myself. My name is George Goodenough. I am your 60-year-old carnivore friend as of last Tuesday. I am based in Bridgewater in the county of Somerset in England. I do have a YouTube channel, which is George Goodenough 823. However, it is a one-take wonder channel at the moment because I have very little YouTube skills. I'm not really familiar with StreamYard other than as a guest. I don't know how to make a thumbnail at the moment, and I don't know how to edit. However, for my birthday, my wonderful stepdaughter bought me this book, which is basically how to become a YouTube influencer. Now, at the moment, most of my time is taken up with organising meetups and doing the kilt coaching course with you, Aaliyah, and with various other people, many of whom are in the friends today. So once that is safely secured by the end of September, then my project for October will be to actually develop my YouTube channel. I certainly will be looking for guests on it. I have already secured 2 definites, one of whom is Dawn, Life After 60 Resting Witch Face over in California. She was a guest on Sunday School Carnivore back along. Fantastic lady. And also Tyler McCann, who is my friend over in Wyoming, and I'll be interviewing him once a month. We will be getting the news from Wyoming, how the progress is coming along for next year, and it's looking very good at the moment, I must say. So other than YouTube, I'm specialising in Facebook at the moment, because I'm a frustrated journalist. I do have a good command of the English language, and I'm doing basically some series in magazine form, which I know many people have written, talking about health, but it won't be just on that. It will be on other points of interest as well. I, like John, am also a member of LinkedIn. I keep on forgetting that one because it's not one which I use very much. Though Stephanie and myself, we're on LinkedIn, and we do follow each other on LinkedIn. I don't do TikTok Instagram or X, because I'm quite happy with what I've got. I do WhatsApp. I do have WhatsApp contacts throughout the carnivore world, and especially we have our own class one, Aaliyah, which we are on every day, as you know. It is a massive support group. I think we're up to 40 members now, and that is 2/3 of the class that started with us on July the 1st, and we are a great source of inspiration. What else can I tell you about myself? Yeah, obviously I was a type 2 diabetic who weighed 293 pounds. I'm no longer type 2 diabetic. At my lowest weight I was 168 pounds, but because of changing my circumstances now, which has basically meant I've given up the day job, and I'm now a full-time carnivore. What's the word I'm looking for? But full-time carnivore, full-time member of Team Carnivore, which I'm funding through a bit of savings and through my military pension, which I picked up at the age of 60. I'm just waiting on the first payment now. So I'm trying to find a way of working from home and trying to get a few income streams, maybe from teaching, because I'm a teacher of English as a foreign language, fully qualified. Maybe some coaching. Maybe actually, if I'm any good at YouTube, maybe I can get a small income stream from YouTube. Event organisation outside of carnivore. Maybe if we're good at organising events within carnivore, we can take that to the commercial world of weddings, conferences, christenings, etc., etc. So yeah, I have this desk which I'm now sat at. I have a computer which I'm talking on. I have an office which you can see behind me. I have an accountant, a lovely young lady who is a former comrade of mine from the army, who has volunteered to help me out. And I have a head full of dreams. Now the question is, can I make those dreams reality? But being carnivore with a positive mindset and being a follower of Dr. Kiltz, who believes you should have faith, because if you have faith, you can turn these dreams into reality. Then yeah, that is my hope to do that. So I intend to be around a lot in the carnivore world. I am working very closely with my American friends at the moment. And so, yeah, that is me. 100% Team Carnivore, shall we say. But I'll end it there and hand it back to you, Aaliyah.
So I've only got a couple minutes before I have to leave. I will have to leave early, so maybe like in 3 minutes. If you guys have any questions, we can do like a speed round, but I'm not seeing many questions today. So, John, you have anything you'd like to help us end on?
Anybody watching who is thinking of trying the carnivore diet, it's basically what our ancestors ate for millennia, all the way up to the late 1800s, when the processed food industry started ramping up, and we now have all this stuff in the grocery store that's not really food. So think of it that way. We're not doing something new. We're going back to what we were supposed to be doing all along. And then we get healthy because it's so simple. When you take out the toxins and you eat what we're supposed to eat, it's so simple. And Dr. Kiltz always comes back to that point, how simple and easy it really is to just eat what your body wants. I'll just leave it at that.
All right, guys. I hope you have a very meaty Monday. I have to go.